JL shouldn't be an analyst for any more matches at IEM Krakow or until he has actually shown at a smaller event he is, one, capable of talking.
Are you f***ing insane?
Right, this is going to be another episode of Hot Take Point Made. We are obviously doing it after the group stage of IEM Krakow. I'm the only one who says it, except me and the Pauls. You know what? For once, me and the Pauls. I like that. As well as in very small political ways. Edgy. No, anyway, whatever. So,
okay. Oh my
I did it this time. You're worried about Kassad doing that. I'm going slightly to that one.
Yeah.
No, anyway, the point of this show is not just that we have hot takes, but we've actually remixed it because I've had it from on high on Mount Olympus that we have to engage the YouTube algorithm. So the way you do that, ladies and gentlemen, is whatever the title is, essentially whatever the hottest take is, you just get that out at the beginning. You don't do what we used to do, where, you know, you start with the banter, then you simmer, and then you go up and you go, and at the end you just throw in all the hot chili peppers in. No, we start with it. So you know what? I'm just going to take control myself. I'm not even going to ask you guys what your take is. I'm going to start with my take. Now, what's funny is when I start the sentence, you might not think it's a hot take. Listen to the end of the sentence. JL shouldn't be an analyst for any more matches at IEM Krakow or until he has actually shown at a smaller event he is, one, capable of talking. I'm not even trolling when I say this. People are going to think I hate JL or something. That was actually like a WWE wrestling beef. I told you a couple of years back when I did all the fall and shit, he did try to like dunk on me or whatever, and that was, or maybe it was the simple angle. One of the two, one of those like famous dramas back in the day when he wasn't even a famous player, he dunked on me. So I did the, you know, we go back and forth a little bit on Twitter. I even actually subtweeted him once with a famous subtweet that went, I've got to stop engaging like shit players. Like famously, I once had a beef with Vexite, didn't have fucking FlyQuest. And then I realised, wait a minute, this is like Jay-Z just beefing with like a mixtape rapper. Like, mate, how about you actually do something and then I'll have a beef for you? Like, you don't get a beef for me if you're nobody. So I decided, unless you become legendary or whatever, I won't beef for you. But then to be fair to JL, he did immediately the very next year, like actually like get to Narvi. And then the year after that, he was like actually cooking and living like one of the best teams in the world. And by the way, I'll just put this out, he was the major MVP. And that wasn't like robbed or rigged. He actually was fucking dope. He had like an amazing fucking game in that one against G2 that basically like practically gave him a chance to win the major anyway. Okay, so I say all that. Notice I said there, not even at the rest of this tournament, bro. As in literally, if I'll give you the analogy here. Think about this image. Imagine GL, right? I even go further. Imagine he's on the desk, guys. So imagine for the moment he's not talking. One of these two guys talking. So he's just looking off 1,000 miles away into the distance. And inside his brain, it's just fucking tumbleweed going by because there's no thought going on. You know, I'd say he's thinking of his point. Like, guys, at that point in time, when the match ends, I don't even tell him, like, meet us after the show. Like, I pull out, like, vaudeville, one of those old farmers' shepherd's crooks that yanks his neck off stage like they used to when you were, like, fucking bombing on stage. Like, because here's why. Bro, this actually, just on a technical level, is the worst performance I've ever seen from an analyst on a prestige event. Remember, he's not on, like, fucking random DreamHack Open. He's not on an online desk. You've taken a guy who was already known to be, let's just say, like, you don't, it's not complicated to do quick maths on this guy's IQ, is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, water boils at a much higher number than here, twice the number. You know what I mean? Like, give me a fucking break here. What are we doing? Like, so anyway, the point is, on a technical level, there is literally moments where he's not talking, where they're just like, they ask him something and he sits there and he actually goes like, and it's like, bro, your one job on a desk literally is talk. Like, you know what? The actual downside of the fact you need to talk and fill air is sometimes it means if you get trapped like that and you can't think of what to say, you have to say any old shit. You have to sometimes say stuff that as you're saying it, it's coming out your mouth. You're looking at yourself going, why am I saying that? Like, I haven't even got to a point yet. And you have to just, by the way, you have to just freestyle your way. And let's be real, I can talk shit on this. One, I did do 8 World Championships as an analyst. And 2, I was probably the best ever at freestyling. I was probably the best ever at coming in, sometimes with no points or going off someone else's point. And even more, not only has he done that, then he's done all the classic bingo card of all the ways you fail. And as I say, this isn't a tiny event. It's actually a massive event. And I'll give you a very serious reason why I shouldn't do the playoffs. Because actually it was traditional back in the day that if you had no experience, you didn't do the playoffs. playoffs anyway. You get yanked after the fucking group stage. Like, Maui told the story. At the last major, Maui wasn't going to do the bloody playoffs, but they just liked his performance in the Swiss. And Maui's already done multiple majors and been a mainstay of the circuit for years. So the other problem with this is, right, here's the other cardinal mistakes he made. One, there was actually a series where every fucking map, he just flip-flopped his prediction to the team that had just won the map before. That's not even how analysis works. That's actually how HLTV fans work. You are aware, GL, whether you're likely to win a map is based on that map, you fucking dunce. Like, so for example, if you win your map pick, Maui, I don't go, Maui probably going to win the next map. Why would that make any sense? No, you pick based on the map secondly, and you don't just go like you're. Here's the problem. There's a metaphor that I heard, and I could never unthink it, for people who are stupid but use superstition. And they did an experiment on like a fucking pigeon. Are you ready? They've already gone to that level of cognition. They did an experiment on a pigeon, right? And what they did was, initially, it's one of those ones like a rat, you push a button and a fucking piece of corn comes out. But then they realised all that does is train a creature to push a button. So what they wanted to see was what happens if you just make it that, like, there is no button and just randomly a piece of corn comes out. And what would happen was the pigeon would eventually code the pattern. Whatever I was doing at the second that the corn came out must be what makes corn come out. So if it had just picked one foot up, it would just put a foot up again. And if, unfortunately, it put a foot up again and corn came out, its brain was like, putting a foot makes the corn come out. That's how he's doing predictions. He's just going, well, I mean, I know I predicted Aurora to win the first map, but they've lost. So you know what? Well, Freya, I think I'll be taking the other team for this map. Like, what are we even doing here? And again, when you'll like this, Kassad, for the World Cup on British TV, they had a gimmick where, as well as the prediction of the analysts, they would have an octopus. Do you remember this? An octopus would just pick like one of the two teams, and that would actually be at this point in time equally as effective, but a lot cheaper replacement for GL. So there you go. Not only should GL not do the rest of this tournament or any major event until he's done a smaller LAN, but also, if possible, I don't know what zoos are in Krakow, they should replace him with a creature like an octopus. By the way, octopus is actually quite intelligent. If you don't know, they sort of diverged from humans a long time. So actually, there you go. I think not only shouldn't he work the event, but actually a creature that lives in the sea would provide more effective analysis and wouldn't be caught for words. Boys, you do whatever you want with this. You don't have to touch it. I know it's scalding hot. You just do what you want.
I can see the headline, ESL should hire octopus.
Instead of gel. Yeah.
Listen, before I speak my mind, I say what I think about this. I want to hear Maui.
Oh, okay.
Because he's in the circuit, right?
He might have to meet him someday, yeah.
I hear his diplomatic, calculated opinion on this.
My takes on this, because I've seen some of these moments.
Jesus is watching right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, Jesus in parentheses ESL. Okay, yeah. I mean the truth is, okay. I mean, okay. With JL, I've been a bit critical of some of the moments that he's had on stream, but I think there's clearly certain aspects that he can work on, but because he could be a future colleague, maybe I'll tell him those in privately.
Okay.
But I'll say this, I think that
certainly.
I think JL, he's shown himself to be an extremely capable and clutch player. I think he's been a really captivating streamer. Yeah. He's been a compelling content creator, and he's been an analyst.
You can't have it all. You know what?
I can't take that. Do you know what, I can't take away the fact that he's been an analyst.
I'll tell you right now, I am shit as a player. Don't ever put me in like IM Krakow on a team. Similarly, as you say, if JL wants to come back and play, hey, I'm interested. Spotting BC game for you. Whatever. But listen, get the fuck off that analyst desk right now, I'm telling you. And again, I am actually pulling rank. I am literally the most decorated analyst in the history of professional Counter-Strike. Get the fuck off that desk, you rat. By the way, although I will add this, he shouldn't turn down any gigs though, by the way. I will never say a player's mistaken for taking a better contract, etc. It's the fault of the people who hire you. It's not your fault. If you get offered an awesome job in a team, you fucking take it, don't you?
I'm going to actually, you know what, I'll add something to it, okay? And this is just an objective fact of what's gone on the ESL broadcast. I'm just merely pointing it out, not making any implication or even stating an opinion regarding it. So there are, I would consider, 3 people that are hired for this Krakow broadcast. I see them working every day that I think are entirely capable of running a desk as a host. There's Stunna, there's Shocks, and there's Freya. there are 3 people that are hired as analysts. There's Yanko, there's Dupree, there's JL. I'm only pointing this out. It's just merely a fact. For whatever reason, there's 3 games that are on the A stream every single day. There's no desk for the first game of the day ever. There's never been a desk for it. That they've just done a 4-person desk for games 2 and 3, and I'm not saying a reason, but they are not doing a desk for the first game of the day, and they are instead opting to have 4-man desks for games 2 and 3. Okay. There's no implication being made. No, nothing is being implied. No statement, but that is what they chose to do with the broadcast talent that they have.
I have no idea what he just said. Like,
don't worry about it. Just ignore that. That was his smoke screen he put up. Yeah, don't worry about it.
The meme, the fucking math, the fucking 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Okay, it's not that complicated, Kassad. It's that they literally decide that they'd rather do 4-man desks than actually have desks for the first series of the day.
Yeah,
they're not doing a desk.
I expected Maui to deflect
them,
of course. You redact like Epstein files, like here. Like,
it's not really that level bad about.
I don't think that was hard to A to B, honestly.
Just fucking deflecting everywhere.
The question is, what do you think, Kassad?
No, I do think that that JL is, honestly speaking, not the smartest.
That's not really a hot take itself, is it? That's a fucking frozen cold take. Go on.
The elevator doesn't go all the way up. That's what they say in UK, right?
And the stairs are out of order too.
Yeah. The thing is, like, him working on an event like this, it's not good for anyone. It's not good for anyone.
No,
right?
I know.
If you started off in some sort of a not blast, but maybe blast, you know, the shit ones, maybe PGL, whatever, and then you learn how to speak properly, because I understand. You come in on the first time, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna blabber, you're gonna fucking stutter. I did. Everybody did it. Everybody did it at the beginning. It's normal. And then, but to do it early on, to put you on the spot, to be there, you know, in the very first event as an analyst, where you have no fucking idea. What's the run of show? What's the fucking producer speaking in your ear? What's the times for interviews, for fucking, you know, sketches that you need to fit up your opinion in like 37 seconds when somebody's like talking in your ear? Then like you have no idea what the fuck is going on. Then you go to the green room where everybody behaves completely different from the behavior on the desk, and then you really don't know what the fuck is going on. And then you need to go and perform. If you're a person that's not like super intelligent, which he isn't, like, it's not gonna be easy for you, you know. So it's this him being there is not the smartest idea for him or for ESL. I understand for him, he was probably offered money. You know, he accepted it.
Again, why not do it? Maybe it'll be fun. You never know, right? You've never done it before. Yeah.
But for ESL and the desk, it can be 10 times better. I mean, I usually watch the Serbian stream because I have the rights to it. I don't have the rights to English one, but I take a look at the other stream and I watch it a little bit as much as I can. And there's some instances where he, you know, doesn't know what to say, doesn't know what the hell is going on right now on the desk. Like, that's how it seems to be. Like, when he's turn to speak, to take the initiative to speak, to stop speaking, those are all normal mistakes to make, right? But putting him in a position in an IEM Krakow, one of the replacement for Katowice early on in the year, and one of the most prestigious events in the top teams, it's not the best idea from ESL. And I told you even before the show started, like, I'm gonna message Carmack and I ask him, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your
Sure, appreciate that.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, just like, it's not like they need to hire me or you or Maui.
No.
I want the quality.
Yeah, great.
I want to entertain.
By the way, anyone I've ever flamed on Twitter for not being that good, they'd all be better than this person. I'm sorry, they just would. Like, all of them. I might just not like... Because actually, one thing you mentioned there, Kassad, it's not even a joke. If there's any gig that you have to have intelligence, because one aspect of intelligence, you have to be quick on your feet as well. This is it, mate. Like, you know, as I say, even someone who waffles and talks a lot, at least you're filling the time, mate. I agree with you as well. If you wanted to give JL a chance, here's what you do. So what you do is you give him to Richard Lewis at a PGL event, and Richard is aware of these things by watching IM Krakow. And what Richard would do is this. He would, because by the way, I'm sorry, the other reason JL got wrecked is they actually did treat him, because I'm sorry, you're doing a prestige event, they treated him like he was going to be an expert, and he was going to be able to perform like a normal analyst. So they just set him up and then threw questions to him. And it turned out, unfortunately, he couldn't answer. Richard would take you and he'd do something like this, like, look, mate, I saw you had some problems, so we're going to work you in easy. What you're going to do is in the green room, me and you will figure out a couple of points you're going to make. And later on, you know, I'll throw to you. Also, maybe you'd even do something like this, by the way. People like Machine and Richard do this as well. You have like hand sign. Like maybe if you're in trouble, you do this little hand sign, and that tells me, oh, you don't have anything right now. We'll go, you know what, actually, we're going to come back to you, JL. Actually, Yanko, what do you thought about that? Like, and then you give them away, because there's also ways, by the way, they can save you. The problem is, in this setup, they can't, because you can tell they had no clue it was going to be like this. They've just come and done the event. And lastly, I will just say this. Even though I'm doing it jokey, I am serious. Like, for example, bro, this is what, like day 4, day 5 or something? It's not even day 1. Like, if you're on day 1, you're on your first match or your first day, I get it. You can get starstruck, all that rest of it. Because I will say this as well, and I'll just be rude again. So he's not a pro player in this scenario. He's an analyst. When I've done analysis, mate, even my literal first ones were 10 times better than this. And I think even if I've ever choked, I've choked for 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Or I've said some bollocks for one answer, and then I've thought, fuck, I better get it back next time. And I say something different. Like, generally, I don't think even, and actually, I'll say this. I think he was just doing it to poke fun at himself, because he actually is someone who can make fun of himself, believe it or not. But when he's doing stuff like posting some of those clips himself on Twitter, it's like, bro, I know the kids call it aura farming, but like, you are sort of making the event look shit. Like, that's not actually that funny that you like can't say anything, or you fucked up your point or something. Like, that's only funny once, mate. It can't really be a thing. You got to meet a certain professional standard, for fuck's sake. Come on.
The thing is, like, you kind of compare him to yourself at this point. It's just uncomparable. Like, even with your first, because you have obviously you're English, right? You're British.
Yeah, I have an advantage. I've always admitted I have a massive advantage over people speaking second language English.
But also you have more charisma right now.
Some would say, yeah, let's not go through all the points, you know, it'll be a long one.
But it's just like, you know...
he's better than me at CS, we've already admitted that. It's more popular. Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot. But
listen, dick's longer, fucking got more stamina in a fight, you know, probably drink more. Mate, I could probably be 10 pints drunk and do a better job than that, you know. I'd be talking bollocks, but I'd be talking, I'd say that. Be talking. I tell you what the worst show ever for him would be, talking counter. Don't invite him as a guest. Logically, he won't have anything to say, will he?
Anyway, moving to the next.
Yeah. Anyway, believe it or not, we actually have a company we're working with now. It's Polymarket. And what's cool is we're going to bring up a market. We're going to do another one later in the show. And we're going to give our thoughts on it, because it's actually quite an interesting angle. Because if you don't know, the way a Polymarket works, basically, is there's a topic, it'll be a question, and you just pick yes or no. You buy whichever one you want, and what happens is, if that thing ends up happening, then all the ones that were yes go to like $1, and then all the ones that are no go to 0, and vice versa. So it's actually a really fun way to get a sense of what are actually people investing their money into on Polymarket. And so we've got a cool one to start with, because obviously we're talking about IM Krakow, IM Krakow, depending on what country you're from. And for this tournament, the question is an obvious, simple one, and we now know the playoffs, don't we? Who is the winner going to be? And so you've got all the teams that are in the playoffs. You did originally also have Falcons when the market opened. Unsurprisingly, Falcons is now 0% because they can't win the tournament, can they? But the rest of the tournament teams are in there. And I can tell you, if you look on the screen, Vitality is an enormous 50%. Remember, guys, we have 6 teams left in the tournament. So that means, like, basically, there's a 50% chance Vitality is going to win this tournament according to the traders on Polymarket. Spirit is at 20%, Fury at 10%, MOUZ 8%, G2 and Aurora 4% at the time of recording. So thoughts on that immediately? Like, do you agree? Is Vitality going to win? Do you have a hot take? Is another team going to win? What are you thinking, boys?
First of all, it's at 582k volume.
Yeah, that's enormous too. That's how much money has been invested.
When I saw it today, when we discussed it, when I saw it, it was like, excuse me? Crazy. The thing is, like, for me, I always liked a little bit long shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I actually, I mean, the form right now, who showed the best form? Did Vitality show the best form on the event right now? They did. They just played fucking...
Bro, by the way, do you want a punchline?
A little more softball.
Because you can check where the volume is. Bro, if you go down, there was 96k on Paravision earlier on, but that's already gone, obviously. Yeah, because people just thought they're going to... Jim, it's the real truth. They're going to win it. So anyway, the real question is, who's winning this thing? What do we think, boys?
No, the thing is, like, who showed the best form so far? We have on one side, we have Vitality, who just played against Aurora for the spot in the semis. So they're going to skip quarters. Basically, they played Ancient. God knows why. What the fuck are they doing? Nobody knows. Nobody cares at this point. But they're in the semis. The brackets have not come out yet. Actually, they did. Let me check it. So Vitality has been showing the best form so far. Right behind them, you would have to say Spirit, no?
Spirits were pretty impressive. I'd say the wins that they had.
Impressive, but like they were second best. Is that pretty impressive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive enough to have a chance.
Yeah, Fury against Aurora is in the quarterfinals. They're facing Spirit. So Spirit, Vitality, obviously on the opposite sides of the bracket, and we have G2 in MOUZ who are going to be playing against Vitality. In that matchup, whoever Vitality gets in the semis, I don't think they can lose.
No, they beat everyone. Yeah.
And then you have the best of 5 final.
Yep.
Which they only lost to G2 in the few months back on Blast.
And they lost to Furia.
Did they? They lost to Furia later.
Well, by the way, neither of those teams are in great form right now. Like by the way, you can even skip that. I think there's literally only 3 teams have even played well, which is Vitality, Spirit, and Aurora. They're the only teams who've actually played really good CS. Like Furia's barely getting through. MOUZ got through after getting their heads smashed in. Like fucking. G2's barely crept through as well. Like I don't know. I think it's only the big 3 can win this one. Assuming you put Aurora in the mix.
Listen. Before you go on. Furia to get to Vitality, they need to go over Aurora and Spirit, right? To even get to Vitality in a best of 5.
Sure.
So it's not gonna be easy. So this 54%, according to the.
It's actually pretty good, isn't it?
It's actually pretty fucking good.
I think so too.
It, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good position to take.
Yeah.
At this point today now.
What's do we know the percentage on MOUZ? I just think it's a long shot.
8%.
Ooh, I saw it at 8. I saw it at 10, but it's
so you would 10x? So you would 10x?
I don't know how the maths works on that bit, but all I'll say is this: you have to win a best of 5 land final at IEM Krakow bit. So
Yeah, that should be
I've been baited by them too many times. I see one really good group stage win or even a playoff win, and then I start getting excited. And that's kind of what happened to me today with them versus Falcons, because I thought that the resilience and like the 3v5s, it's Falcons, so sometimes they lose man advantages, but they fought themselves back into those almost as much, if not more, than how much Falcons messed those situations up. I liked what they did. I think they're going to beat G2. I think they're going to give a fight to Vitality, but it'd be kind of foolish to say Vitality's not the favorite in that.
I
think the market is set up pretty good right now.
Yeah, I think it's quite accurate. I see, now that it's corrected from people thinking Paravision was going to win, etc. And people had like Navi. Astralis had loads as well, believe it or not. I know that actually sounds mad, but they did for real. So anyway, whatever. Maybe it's because they played Paravision in the other tournaments, so people think they must be decent, because the game, they win a map or whatever. So I don't know. I'll just say this. This is why I would never pick MOUZ. Because, mate, that stage light may as well be in those old school movies when someone does a prison break and that fucking guard spotlight comes on you and you freeze. Like, that's fucking MOUZ when the stage lights comes off. So no, I think
that's the sad part.
I agree with the market. I think Vitality is going to win, and I also think actually the joke is it has to be in. By the way, 50% is really high anyway because the whole playoffs has to play out. But the way Kassad broke it down, it is also I think very likely to happen. Like it's very likely to make the final, and agreed. Once they make the final, it's going to be so hard to beat them in a whole BO5. In fact, if anything, don't let the Aurora series trick you. They don't even play Ancient. Like, they actually were doing that just to flex it, because it's like, that implies to me, maybe they want to ban an Anubis or something weird like that against someone else. And they still won. They still won it. So, like, at this point in time, Vitality is the shit. And also, spoiler, Ziwu was absolutely fucking shit-stomping everyone in that series. That was actually one of the best series he's played in quite a long while, mate. That was fucking bonkers. So, yes, okay. Now we will move on. Right, I started with a blazing hot take. Who has the next hot take? What do you want to go with? You can either, if one of you has a really good one, can do it, or I can bring you a fan one that is absolute insanity. It's up to you. What do you want to go with?
I can do one, but I can save it for the.
Let's do this fan one first, because I think it'll be funny. It'll get the juices going. Listen, you're gonna like this. This is so mental. Right, remember, if you want to submit a fan take, become a subscriber to Last Nation Discord, and then there'll be a channel, be CS Hot Takes, and just put yours in there. Right, listen. Victius Reacts says, this is a long one, so let me read it. Okay. EliGE is the most overrated player of all time and has the worst eye test. Everyone hypes him up because he is a stats merchant and plays on a high sense. On FaZe, he had bonkers stats, but would constantly start games off 0-7 and make up for it later in the game or half. But his inconsistency is the reason he has never won anything except with the real NA GOAT, Twists. Even when Twists was repping a 1.07, you could actively point in-game to him being a stabilising element in the team, in and out of the server. EliGE, on the other hand, is feast or famine and is the reason his team loses games with his bipolar performances. These are not my words, by the way. Do not clip me and send him EliGE. It is no surprise FaZe is better without EliGE, and Liquid are struggling to be any good opposition because on FaZe, Carrigan was hard carrying himself into a depressive hole to make EliGE look good. Right, listen, gents, that's a pretty bold take. So, what do you think?
This guy hates EliGE. That's
I know.
Yeah, that's just clear.
That's what I don't know why. Did he lose money or something? Like, what the fuck happened?
Sounds like he's a Twist fan. Let's be real. If I think I'm reading that into it a little bit.
Probably,
I mean, he did say that Twist with a 1.07 rating is better or something. So go on.
It's hard for me like to disagree with some of the things that he said.
Like what?
Most like he said his bipolar performance. I wouldn't phrase it like that.
Okay.
I would say his like mental state and his head game ruined some of the fucking teams that had potential around him. Like his behavior and his tilting and not maturing as a player ruined some of the promising lineups, including the FaZe one, and the earlier before that in Liquid. So even in the start with Liquid as well. But the thing is but you can write that off because he was too young and he didn't have a proper coach and like he was allowed to do everything he wanted by Liquid, which they still kind of do in that fucking org for some fucking reason. But that's another subject. But to say that he's most overrated is kind of crazy to me because the guy has crazy stats, crazy performances, crazy skill. He said, basically, he called him a baiter as well.
Yeah.
The guy goes in first, and he said it multiple times from behind the scenes that I know that people offered him in the teams like Liquid, offered him to play a little bit more back seat, close the rounds kind of thing. He said, I don't want to do that. I prefer to go in first, create space, entry, and all these things, right? We saw in the last year that his T-side performance was the only thing that was keeping FaZe relevant, which is confirmed now by Krakow exit. And I'm not going to introduce that fucking major whatever that was, when we all know what the reality is of that FaZe team. But to call him overrated, and the only reason why he won something is because he had Twists in his team is ridiculous. Because right now, the only two significant superstars in North America that has ever played are Twists and EliGE, and they're 50-50 each. Depending on who are you fan, whose fan are you, you're going to go 51-49. It cannot go less or more than that. Because both players are exceptionally good. Both players are very good in different situations, in different aspects of the game. Both players are smart as well for the game, clean inside the game, fucked in the head outside of the game for different reasons. So they're pretty much the same. So I don't think anybody's overrated. I don't think anybody won because of the other guy. I think both of them are very, very good. I think EliGE could have accomplished more if he was maturing a little bit earlier, or he was like under the wing or under the authority of somebody who he respected to kind of show him that maybe sometimes compromise is the solution, or sometimes there is a better way of doing things, or maybe the emotions doesn't need to be exposed or expressed at the very moment when the round is happening, which I saw multiple times back when he was playing in Liquid, back when he was playing in fucking Complexity and FaZe, and now back in Liquid as well. So many things there to unwrap, but for me, he's not overrated at all. He is properly rated. Like, the guy is a monster on the server with the obvious flaws that nobody bothered to fix. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's the guy who is. I blame people around him for allowing him to be that guy for such a long time that he felt comfortable being that guy and controlling everything around himself, while the people around him who were supposed to making decisions just sit around and say, oh, he's the star, he's fragging, let him do what he wants. No. So, yeah, There you go.
I feel like the community is pretty polarized around EliGE and I think he gets a kind of a weird amount of for being just like a great, I would say great opener kind of entry player in general. Usually I feel like the community sentiment is a lot more stabilized. Like I think people generally across the board, for example, would look at someone like Xantares and just be like, yeah, didn't maybe have the career you would have wanted from a guy like this, but very undeniable that he has extremely strong skills. And I think that would probably be the same about somebody like, say, Flamesy, maybe Exertion. Like, I think generally we know these guys are quite good. Maybe like the opinion is lightly up and down depending on who watches what. But they're all quite good, and EliGE should be talked about in that vein. I don't think today. I think his career even eclipses all of the guys I had just mentioned because EliGE was the guy for Liquid during their Grand Slam run, like their best overall player is what I mean. And it was a great unit, crazy 2-month, 3-month stretch of unbelievable form, something we've really never seen as a team. And that shouldn't really overshadow the fact that he was the guy for the roster. I think that's where Twist fans kind of come in, as they probably missed out on what that sort of run looked like, and then seeing what Twist was when he was supposed to be the guy for various rosters after that. There's a difference when Prime EliGE is your number one option versus Prime Twist is your number one option. More shit gets done when it's EliGE. So I don't really... The overrating is kind of crazy because, I mean... I don't know. I mean, I guess his take wasn't exactly him versus Twist, but it really is kind of a 1A, 1B for what you value. I totally see valid arguments for both of them now. Maybe Twist has pushed himself up a bit in that conversation. So I think if I had the breakdown with Thorin again of who is the guy that comes out on top, I think I would push Twist even harder this time. But I still feel like it's entirely valid that EliGE is the North American greatest player.
Well, I think his answer, but I actually think this take is one of the worst takes we've ever had submitted to this short. So I also read it out. Because first of all, remember the opening sentences, EliGE is the most overrated player of all time and has the worst eye test. Both of those are absolutely ass takes. Here's why. You didn't even make a framing that gave you a chance to be plausible. Like if you'd have said he was like the most overrated player of 2025 based on like expectations coming into the year, you're vaguely getting to something there. But the problem is, of all time, are you out of your fucking mind? Let me just do the all-time one quickly, right? So I know you guys, his stats mission, we'll have to get to that in the eye test in a minute, won't I? So I'll do the stats part, right? First of all, statistically, he is one of the best players to ever play CSGO or CS2, like both games. Like he has fucking, but I know, this is how, the giveaway, I'll go further than that, Maui. I think this guy only watched CS2. And even then, I think he just didn't watch Complexity because they didn't make a lot of playoffs. Because the way he is describing EliGE makes no sense for CSGO. Like in CSGO, EliGE wasn't even just the guy who had like the T-side stats. He had bonkers stats all around. He was one of the best all-around riflers in the game. Like, I'm not exaggerating to say that he was, like, only a step below, like, Nico, for example. He was only a tiny fraction below a Nico, and it was only when someone like Cold Zero earlier on would have been better than him. He actually was better than Cold Zero in the latter years of CSGO. Like, this guy was so fucking good. As Maui says, he was the best player on the Grand Slam winning Liquid. By the way, they not only won a Grand Slam, but if you've never seen his stats for ESL 1 Clone, it's only because Zebu went out of his mind that EliGE wasn't the MVP. If you don't know, he had like 0.8 kills per round in a whole fucking ESL 1 Cologne that then won them the Grand Slam, and think of the pressure of that as well, by the way. Then also, I'll just add this in there, if you ever just go and check his majors stats in CSGO, they are fucking crazy. You know my favourite stat, the KPR, go look at it. He is fucking smurfing in all these tournaments, and then look, same for big events, these are all the most important events, mate. And then here's where it's actually mental if you start to apply context, not just stats, since this guy hates stats. So first of all, right, by the way, you don't obviously, but the person submitting this take, you don't even understand stats. Here's why I know you don't. You know this thing, he always starts 0-7 and then he gets really good stats, you dickhead. How would that be possible? By the way, to start 0-7 all the time and then have amazing stats, you'd have to be fucking insane in the rest of the rounds of the game, wouldn't you? It's MR12. What that means is you vaguely remember a couple of times he started 0-7 and then he made up for it by getting kills. Why, by the way, if kills early in the game are so valuable, kills later in the game, when I would say they're more valuable, less valuable somehow. Like, I'll never understand that one. on. Like, it's like people who go, this player's supposed to be clutch, but he had a shit 3 quarters. Yeah, and then he dropped 20 in the 4th quarter and won the game. You realise that's actually the best time to have 20 points. It's in the 4th quarter, not in the 1st quarter, and then lead and then lose the game. Think about it. That's just, I'm sorry, kills aren't uniform. You actually don't understand stats. Then I'll start giving him some reasons outside of stats since he doesn't like them. Right, you know all the shit I just said he did in Liquid? He did all that with nobody that was vaguely a top 10 AWPer. Remember, on that team, Nitro was the AWPer. Or, like, they would take turns and use it on different maps. Like, NAF would use it on CT side of a map. Like, they were winning the best tournaments in the world with no fucking AWPer. Guess why? Because they had I agree with Maui. This guy was the best, but the joke is, like, him and Twists at their peak were 1A, 1B. And then NAF was like, if they're 1A, 1B, he should have been your 2nd star, but he was your 3rd star. Like, that's why that team was so fucking powerful. Then Stewie was the entry force. Like, a Yekindar without the big stats. And then Nitro was just a good IGL who filled in everything else. Like, that team was unreal, and he was the best player on it. And all I'll say is this: go find me anyone else who's won a Grand Slam without a good AWPer. Spoiler, you'll never fucking find one. What are you talking about? That's impossible. So, and then I'll just go to the eye test. The eye test one is even more egregious. Like, I'm sorry. I'm actually going to, this is where, by the way, I don't care that they paid to submit the question. You are a bum, sir. You are a fucking bum. And you know his eye test, your brain test just failed. Because, bro, listen, I know you contrasted him with Twists. By the way, that's an insane thing to say. Twists has actually, I think, one of the most overrated eye tests because his specialty is like eye-popping headshot pinpoint tapping on the head like Nico style. But I will say in CS2, I think he's been a lot better. But I actually thought at the end of phase, he would kind of only do that. He'd win those. He'd do the crazy little tap headshots and win like a 1v3. But then on the normal rounds, he actually wasn't as good a rifler as EliGE. EliGE has some of the best spray I've ever seen. He actually has pretty good headshot aim. It's just everything's not instantly dead. And actually in CS2, where he is the aggressive rifler, he does do a lot of like insta one-tap headshots. So I actually cannot believe that this guy is saying the eye test is bad. It's one thing if you think, like if you told me Blame F is a stats merchant and plays it, yeah, he does. But mate, by the way, even Blame F's eye test, mechanics-wise, is fucking nuts. Like, EliGE has one of the best eye tests, not even just of NA players, of any player I've seen who plays with a rifle. Like, I said he's only a step below a Nico. And then really, that's why it's also whack that he did that whole thing where he hasn't won anything except with Twists. Like, mate, again, go check the fucking demos. Do you know the reason why Twists hated Liquid and had to leave at the end? Because he felt like he didn't get his roles. Well, if he didn't get his roles, guys, and he wasn't happy with it, logically, he wasn't the fucking man who was having an awesome time, was he? That means he was sat there going, I wish I was fucking... By the way, I think that's why they don't play together. I think Twists wants to be in the EliGE position and not have EliGE next to him and take that spot. That's why instead his whole thing's like, I'll go this way and you go that way. Let's meet up later and see who wins more type thing, which is cool. Some shonen anime fucking storyline in here. I think that's good. So no, I think it's whack. I think it's such a fucking terrible stake. And also, as pointed out by these two, it's not like he is Blame F, bro, playing like a really like sort of passive style, just getting X skill. He's fucking entrying. Even in phase, he was like a hard entry sometimes. He would just go in. And if anything, he allowed Frozen to fucking bait and trade him half the time. Like, yep. I don't get it. What a weird... not only does he seem to love Twist, you seem to hate EliGE, bro. You seem to really hate his guts. And I just question if you ever watched him in CSGO. Because last thing I'll say is this. I'm looking, and I'm being really reasonable. I'm not going to pick those latter years at the end of Liquid at the CSGO. If you go and count, you can find a solid like 4.5 years he was the shit in CSGO. And then in CS2, by the way, you can get a solid year and a half out of that. He was mega at the beginning. He was great for complexity. Yeah, I'll give you the... You know what? Even though his stats were good in phase, I'll give you that. His CT game fell off. He wasn't that good. He clearly didn't fit the team. But I'll tell you what. If you can do maths, 4.5 plus 1. Oh, that's just the cheeky fucking 6 years as an elite player in Counter-Strike. Are you kidding me? So you suck, sir. You suck. I put it to you that you are a word merchant who doesn't have any ideas and you've failed the brain test. But feel free to keep paying and submit another question in the future. Because, by the way, I feel like you've got a real good chance to get on another episode. So, okay, boys. What we doing now, Maui? What we doing now?
Well, I don't know if I want to hear anymore, but this message is sponsored by Raycon, so I guess we do need to hear a little bit more. And I feel like it's a good time to hear a little bit more because we've got the first S-tier, really prestige event underway. There's a ton of great content to consume on all of the Last for Free Nation channels regarding Elite CS. We have a Dota channel now, actually, which I actually listen to a little bit of. Yeah. And what better way to listen to all of this than with everyday classic earbuds from Raycon, because you can go to their website, www.buyraycon.com/hottakeopen to get 15% off, and you can get off get that off on their Essential Open earbuds, which are way better for listening around your home if you want to just be connected with the space that you are around you. They have up to 8 hours of playtime on a single charge, 36 hours of battery life when you're using using the case, and every minute you charge them, you get 5 minutes of time back in the headphones themselves. So honestly, just get on it, okay? Go to buyraycon.com/hot-take-open to get 15% off. And thanks, Raycon, for sponsoring.
Also, by the way, if people don't know, you actually can listen to this show and other LFN shows on like podcast networks like Spotify, etc., and the other ones. And in fact, I believe for these shows on Spotify, they even have the video feature. It even has the video as well if you actually use those platforms. But obviously, you can download it as a podcast and that. And if you're on any of the podcast platforms we're on, go check them out. Also, if they let you leave a review, if you do that, that actually does help, by the way. That actually does help us on those networks and help us with the metrics. So it's not just a waste of time. Okay, Kassad, we teased it before. What is your take?
Okay, the reason why MOUZ isn't accomplishing what this lineup can accomplish is because they're too woke.
They're too woke?
Yeah.
Okay, hit me with it. How? In what way? By the way, I'm not aware. Genuinely, I'm so confused. I'm not aware in any way that they've expressed any politics. Like,
how does that even make any
What have they
sense?
done? What have they done? Like,
First of all, we know that like woke movement is dead, pretty much.
sort of, yeah. Some would say it's on the way out. I'll put it so on Polymarket, I certainly wouldn't be buying. Yes, woke will continue to exist. Yeah, I'm with you.
Ever since Kamala lost the election, like the woke movement.
I want to see now how we're going to tie MOUZ to Kamala Harris losing the Esports. You know what? I've learned to just sit back and listen. Let's see where we're going on
Listen.
this.
Now, the bottom line is like MOUZ players are too fucking soft. Like,
that's what he means, right? Okay, fucking hell. I was so scared right now. I know. Where's this going?
No. Right. They're too soft. The coach is too soft. They're all doing like, you don't see any drama. You don't see any yelling. You don't see any energy. Everything is done like kind of by the book. You lose the round. Oh, guys, we need to communicate more. Stay calm and tap him on the back. Like, there is no like energy. Nothing is going on when they're losing or winning. Like, the only guy who is actually showing any kind of emotions or anything is Torji. And that's only when they're winning. When they're losing, they're all dead. Before they beat the Falcons today, which apparently is not even a big deal anymore. Beating Falcons is just a normal thing for most teams at this point. But the thing is, like, I watched them before. These people, they look like a team. You know that team, maybe you heard about this type of teams, that they're dead completely, and they all know they're dead, and they all don't want to play with each other. They all hate each other. They're obviously too polite, too woke to call somebody a retard or something like that. And then, and then there is one guy, either in New York or the coach, who is trying to like keep them together.
Okay.
You know, when it obviously doesn't work when they're playing together. And they're sitting there pretending like they're executing stuff. If you watch through their maps, it's fucking ridiculous what they're doing. Like even some of the rounds, Maui, you probably watched the game against Falcons on 15, when they're walking up short, dry, and then Kiyosuke kills them too with an M4 that they like kind of improvised, like without the flash, without the smoke for middle, like completely like super dry, without any kind of cohesion or any kind of structure, anything. That's one of the 1,000 examples. But basically, like they looked like a team that just way too fell apart, and everybody would accept change, multiple changes, themselves getting kicked, anything to change in that team. But there is that one guy who tries to, keep the friendship factory open, even though they're not friends anymore. Like it's just fucking crazy to me. Now they beat Falcons. Now they're in the playoffs, but we have seen that movie too many times. When they go into the playoffs, they're probably gonna crash and burn like they usually do. But like I said, the only problem is the fact that they were too soft. Like nothing. The only drama they had was with Shui, and they kicked him instantly, and nobody said anything after that. What happened? Who's fucked up? Who said what to who or whom? I don't know what the fucking correct thing is. But the thing is, it's just too soft. It's too woke. It's too fucking bad. Woke is bad now. But
I see where he's going with it. Okay, I see it now.
But the thing is, like, that's why until something changed in the culture of that team, in the fucking core of that team, they won't accomplish nothing or anything.
Okay. What do you think, Maui? Are you out on MOUZ? They have been the playoffs, to be fair, but are you out on them? Okay.
I wonder if Kassad is perhaps pushing some sort of other political
But this is
leaning.
not a geopolitical podcast.
No, it's not geopolitical. Okay. It's just widely, globally political regarding woke. I will cite evidence 6B regarding the fact that Blade, one of the most accomplished coaches in history, in his bedroom, above his bed frame, hangs the trans pride flag.
Yeah, that's true. He does.
That is
Listen,
Photoshop.
That is not Photoshop. I don't know if it is or not. To be fair, I don't know. I don't know if it is.
That is not. It's not propaganda.
Yeah, it's propaganda.
He does have that indeed above his bed frame. I think the premise is hilarious. So whatever. I'll just go on to MOUZ in regards to that. Also, I don't even really think I could. Man, it's why are you gonna make me have to say that? Like, I don't know if a couple of the guys on MOUZ I could consider woke for various reasons that.
Well, I thought you were going to say something else, but yeah, okay.
I don't know if I could consider everybody on that team woke. I don't think they align with woke beliefs in 2026.
If you actually you're missing it. You're missing. Think of a different angle of what other domains you could be in, Kassad, and what right now woke people would be against. It's actually a mad edgy take, but what you're learning is Maui understands how to say it without saying it, Kassad. That's half the battle, mate. You know.
That's
so
what I am.
The point is, if you get that one at home, you got it. It was good. I liked it. It was a good angle, Maui. That was edgy without being edgy.
Okay, so beyond that, I get what you mean, that there isn't really always the fire that's underneath MOUZ. That there's also, I mean, there was a take about. I think I saw this on Twitter recently. That was like Arsenal. I don't have any bad boys on the team. They don't have any guys that are. They're not. You know, they don't have guys that are out having sex with supermodels and like just getting into cheating dramas and stuff like that. They're like too many married men on the roster, and I'm not gonna go as far to justify that take necessarily, but I do think that having a little bit of edge is nice, but it can go too far as well. I mean, I think Falcons might have all the edge and none of the actual. Maybe they need to be a little bit more woke, actually. So there's a balance, there's a medium. I don't think that the MOUZ guys, just from the outside, look like the ones that are going to be the most openly critical. I think that if you want a guy that's an example for critical but also gets it done, Apex is the prime example today. I don't think that. I personally don't even see when he's doing it, like, we have to play a certain way and be better in this aspect. Feels like he does a lot of 2020 hindsight right during freeze time after a round's over, and I'm kind of like, that just feels needless. But hey, it's hard to argue with the trophies. It's hard to really argue with the fact that I also consider him the best leader right now. And so, Brolin, on the other hand, I mean, they sometimes do prop him up as making some good reads and calls, but I also see that this team sometimes feels more like Cyclone's the guy that's handling business for them as opposed to anybody else, and it doesn't really seem like they're always getting enraged at each other for their ups and downs. I still have faith in MOUZ. Okay, I feel like that poly market percentage is one that I would maybe even take a stab at that. That just feels like something that's a little bit like that for 8%. I mean, I don't know exactly how that implies in terms of anything, but I feel like what they showed today versus Falcons was a lot in terms of resilience and playing out the man down situation. So I'm not entirely out on them. I know that I'm getting baited. I'm getting reeled in right now by them because Exertion actually looked like the guy for them today. But so I don't want to go head over heels for them, but I definitely don't think wokeness is what's causing their flaw.
Oh, 100%. The only thing that's missing there is the pronouns.
If he means just soft, they're too soft. I actually 100% agree. I think it's one of the most obvious flaws they have in the team. By the way, I can't even believe Maui has actually let these performances trick him into believing they can win the event. Remember, it isn't, can they go to the final? Can they go there? They have to actually, in the final, step on the floor.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going head over heels for it.
And then lift up the trophy and then go, fuck your, suck my dick, MOUZ is the best. They're not going to do any of that shit. Not even going to metaphorically do it, mate. Like, this is the team, just like at the major, the worst thing about MOUZ is they can play really good CS, but when it's a really important game, Mate, they get the assist for the beating they take. They're like, oh, maybe use the belt this time. Fucking hell, like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't even fight back. It's so outrageous. Like, I actually think what happened to them at the majors is one of the most shameful, like, favourite fuck-ups I've ever seen. That was in some ways worse than the fucking Na'Vi Fury one, because at least it was Na'Vi. Like, FaZe literally was there for the taking. The second you fucking start bullying them and front-running, they would have just buckled immediately. You were, in theory, like, a team where, like, Torshi's in his home country, and then you just got beaten, like, from fucking, they say from, like, the fucking, like, the starting whistle to the bell or whatever, like, just from the beginning to the end, you were just getting your ass whooped, and you just took it. And even worse, when you take it, this is where the spice has to exist. No one's even mad. Everyone's just upset. No one ever even does like a tweet like, fuck, what is this? We can't keep it. It's like, sorry, guy. It's like a team of 5 matches. Like, this is bullshit. And then also, you do get the sense in their team that because they overperformed the project from 3 years ago, they haven't understood that they actually used to win tournaments and that they like used to be one of the best teams in the world and that they're supposed to be elite. Because I also think the same with Cyclone. Like, mate, I'm never going to see an interview like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to win the next tournament, so I don't give a shit what happened here. Oh, you know what, actually, if I don't win a trophy in the next season, maybe I shouldn't even be with this project. That's how you fucking light a fire under people's arse. Or how about you say some shit like this? I'll tell you what, I know fans are disappointed with how the last major went. So if at this next major we don't at least make a deep run, there'll have to be changes. Ooh. That makes people start thinking. Remember, one of the things a great coach sometimes does if he can't get to you in the locker room is put something in the press. Put something that'll make people start talking or make people think, fuck, if he's going to say that, does that mean I could go? Because I do think one of the problems they have, unironically, I actually think in that sense they've gotten worse since Shuhei went. Because I tell you what, it's implied by who he is. One, he's fucking Polish. And two, he literally got kicked out of their team with no reason ever given. It's implied to me he might have a bit of spice. I might even go ahead and predict, by the way, he might have a problem in Liquid that if anything, he's probably too scared because of the fucking stories behind the scenes to do anything. He's probably like gun shy and think, fuck, I already got kicked out one team, better just do what all the stars say. I actually get the vibe in his team. Maybe he was the one fucking shit up. Maybe he was the one that actually, listen, mate, the greatest Polish players of all time are like this. Maybe he got angry when they lost and was like, you know what, actually, it's not cool to just get bounced from the playoffs when we should have like won the tournament or some shit like that. Remember, they were the team in the second season that started beating Vitality and still didn't win the tournament. Like, mate, you're already doing the hardest part. So the last thing I'll say is this. I've always said in this team, the hardest part, when they're the most fraudulent, is every time you get baited by Torji or Impact back in the day or fucking Exertion when he has a good game, you think, right, that's it, cool, we got your star, there's your star, then we're going to see what... No, there's never a star in this team. And part of the reason why is I do think they're soft. I think they do that thing, and it's what I have always said was the key difference, in my opinion, in Device's career. When I talked to him before he started being a killer and winning events and being clutch, he used to tell me, there are no stars in our team, it's just a team effort and don't put that pressure on me. Later on, mate, the joke is you saw at the end after they were really good, he was smashing fucking tables and punching monitors because he knew, like, I can win this tournament, like, I'm better than this. So I think they do lack that. They've got a bunch of good players and none of them have the nuts to be the fucking star player. None of them have. And by the way, here's another reason why you don't have any nuts. If you are the best player in the team, get one of those fucking shitters kicked out. Figure out which one of you is the weakest thing and kick them out. And when you kick them out, by the way, don't just get another good player. Bring in someone who's clutch or bring in someone with some fire. Because I agree, you don't want a team of 5 simples. But you know what? 0 simples is worse than 1 simple. Not just for the ad. You want one guy that has some fire. If anything, by the way, a BC game, without making a whole sidebar, what you want with simple is like 2 people who calm everyone down and bring the morale up to offset the 1 simple. In this scenario, you actually need 1 dickhead. You need 1 person who's not going to tolerate it when we're shit, who's not going to let someone just fucking have bad game after bad game on stage. You want 1 person who even just says, like, what the fuck are we doing after map 1? Like he said about Apex. There's a million stories of Apex literally telling people, like, essentially trash talking his own team, like, we're getting fucking wrecked and we're about to go out the tournament and we're all just going to get shit on like this, and then people wake up and do something.
Yes, that's what I want. Exactly. 1 guy in my team to go into the fucking not locker room, but whatever the fucking room is where they go after the map, and say, like, guys, what the fuck? Not me, just like as a coach, but as a player, a leader, whatever, like that guy. What the fuck are you doing? Like, we practiced all these fucking games, all these days, weeks in the bootcamp for what? For missing smokes, for missing rotations, for not communicating in the clutch positions. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Missing strats. Like, can you wake the fuck up?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the sentence that needs to be said. Wake the fuck up. What are you doing?
By the way, Maui's
point.
point.
Better next time.
I'll give you the point of what Maui meant by that. Like, it's all just like nice guys on Arsenal. Here's the weird thing that people won't get. A bit like a simple. Oh, by the way, Nico back in the day, if you know the stories. Apparently, by the way, you'll love this. One of the nicknames for Nico, they must have heard the old stories, bro. Is King of the Nightclub or something mad. Which is like, you know what? He earned that fucking title back in the day because yes, like Shocks, he was the King of the Nightclub, and then the next day he was putting belt to ass in the server. And even though, listen, I would never suggest someone does that. That's slightly unprofessional. Tell you what, like Ronaldinho, kind of dope when he can fucking do it though, isn't it? When he can fuck around. Because here's the weird thing about being the guy, by the way, who is edgy and is a party guy. You must perform. Because you're the dickhead. Now you can't be the guy who phones it in and does badly because you get fired. So those players, by the way, tend to be straight fire, I've got to say. It's just a weird one of those things in sports.
And if you're the coach, in the interview, say things that you just said. I'm going to fucking change players if you don't do close to what I expect to do. There will be changes. I don't care who it is. We didn't play well. I'm going to fucking review it. I'm going to make a decision like when the time comes and the changes will be made. And if that doesn't work on the game, this is what I wanted to do multiple times, but I never got a real chance to do it. I wanted to slam something behind the guys on the stage or anything to get myself kicked out of the fucking game.
He's actually trying, like in the NBA where they take the tech just to fire the table. Yeah. He's actually trying to get himself tossed from the goal. Yeah, ref, you fucking piece of shit. And your wife too. Like, get on the game. It's like,
I did it, but they didn't throw me out.
I love it.
Multiple times. But they didn't throw me out. I got a fine once for breaking the headset in minor or whatever the fuck was it against Chinese team or something. We lost Mirage. Whatever. I took the ESL headset and just slammed it over the fucking ground. They broke it 1,000 pieces. 3 months later, I get a fine of like $2,000 or some shit. I don't know. the thing is like, it's in the ESL record, 100%. Okay. But the thing is like, you need to be a little bit more tougher when things are not going well after all this fucking time.
Right, we'll do one more poly market and then we'll do Maui's take and then we'll end. So here's what we're going to do, boys. There is also another poly market that is edgy because I've got to say, I understand why some people would want this poly market to exist, but this is pure haterism. So they have got one that says, will Simple retire by June 30th of this year, by the way? Yeah, so the question is, gentlemen, I mean, listen, I guess people think Simple rage or whatever. If things go really badly, does Simple actually just say, you know what, fuck this, I'll just retire, actually, I'm out here.
Listen, according to the traders on Poly Market right now, there is a 20% chance that will happen.
Which does mean most people think it won't, by the way. It does mean the majority of people. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I made the similar joke once back in the day on a show with, like, you know, because obviously you're never going to have a poll that's 100% higher. There was once a poll that was like, this player, who should be the all-star player for this thing? And a player was like 85%, which means like everyone says it. But my joke was, let's find this 15%. Who the fuck are they? Like, because it was like the best player, you know, like, who are they? So I know what you mean. Like, who are the 20% that are just such haters? Is this just all Zemu stands who are like, you know what? He will retire. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, exactly. Ziwu and Duncan, honestly, are just like, you know what? I'm going to put some volume into this market. Like, let's get, because, you know, people do care about what these markets say. So, okay. What do you think? Is it likely to happen, Kassad?
There is zero. I mean, just put yourself in a simple spot right now. You are in BC game. You are getting the alleged $150,000 salary. You played an okay event with a team that suck.
Yep.
Like a bunch of guys.
Oh, you were actually all right at the event, though. Yeah, the event was better than you expected, if anything. I know,
You managed to get to the second stage. Yeah. Got you some points. Now there's some Lancer being announced. Maybe you get your ass to the major. You never know, right?
Oh, by the way, I know the analogy for this. Do you remember back in the day? I think people don't know. I'll just tell the terms right now. The reason Virtus Pro, the one with Snacks and Taz and Neo, the reason they had one of the most insane deals ever is I was told, because they were the first team to get the crazy deal, like the 20k a month, back in like 2016 or whatever it was, right? 2015 maybe. Whatever year they did it in, basically they had a deal that was insane, bro. Supposedly their deal had a clause that as soon as another team gets more salary, they just get bumped to meet it, right? If you understand how bonkers that contract is, you're already getting mega bucks. Essentially, you're incentivized no matter what to stay in the deal because you just keep getting better and better as people go up. And so people used to remember for the whole last 6 months where they were really bad or whenever they had a slump, if you remember, fans would always say, whoever was underperforming, Taz, fucking Pasha, they would just go do you think he'll retire? And I used to go on by the numbers, bro, if they are paying me 20k a month, one, you will have to pry the mouse from my cold, dead hands. And then two, I'm always surely going to answer, you know what, guys? It's been really bad. I'm very disappointed in myself, but I'm willing to give it another go for another month. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I know what you mean, Kassad. Even if surely this team, even if they lose 13-0 at all the future lands, if you're simple, you don't ever quit, mate. They fire you. That's the only way this contract ends, surely. Come on. And also, this is why I agree. It is fucking Zimu fans who bought the 20. Because even if the team sucks, is there not a world where Simple just goes to a better team? Like, is that not allowed either? Does he just have to flat out retire from all of esports? I don't know. This is a mad take to me.
Or just like, wouldn't he just change a player?
Yeah, why can't he do that too?
That's a better market to invest.
I know. What a world.
Crazy.
What a world. What do you think, Maui?
Obviously, I don't think he's going to retire. I mean, it just makes no sense when he has the kind of contract that he has right now, and also that he's playing at the level that he's at right now. I just think the one thing that he has to do is that he needs to probably swallow his pride on the amount of money that he's making right now.
That's a good take.
If he actually wants to be competitive, he needs to be willing to take a more normal person salary, even though it's kind of ridiculous. It's like, you know, if I don't know, I guess the way I would compare it is if I only knew I could do, let's say Fisher events put me in an exclusivity deal, but they paid me 5 times my day rate, I'd be a little bit inclined to take it. You know, it's just I mean, that's just an absurd amount, but I would also know that I would never do work on a desk that many people are going to see, especially given the fact they only stream on one platform or whatever. It's just you know, if you want to be the best, you got to play enough regularly with the best, and to have that opportunity, you need to price yourself into that market.
I mean, put it this way, that's one thing I will say in sports. I will always totally admit. Some of the players I was a fan of, like Ronaldo, Aaron Rodgers, by the way, notice they're all like the super individualistic, super skill player, like a Simple. I will say, when I used to complain all the time, like, oh, who's Aaron Rodgers throwing to? Except for Devontae Adams, he has no one good. Like, he's just throwing to fucking nobody's. People would tell me, like, yeah, but he's taking all the money because he had like one of the biggest contracts in the NFL. It's like, you've got a point there, actually. It's true. If he agrees with me that he doesn't have any help, listen, mate, people like LeBron and Tom Brady have done this. They have taken a price cut so you can get one more player, which is what I might need to win. So what you have to ask yourself is, like, if you also want to win, if you're Simple, that's actually a very valid point. You can also just put it, since it's also so insane, you can put it down a little bit, mate. I'm not saying like take 5k. You're still gonna have fucking 100k or whatever it is. Like, just put it down a little bit. Let's get some other players in the door.
But the thing is, like with NFL and NBA, there is this thing called salary cap, right? Like in CS, there is no salary cap. NBC game has all the money in the planet, like so, because they're the biggest.
Yeah, that's also why I don't buy it. I keep making this point because BC games like the fucking Falcons Junior, they're just going to keep buying players. If they're willing to spend that many millions for the Saw players, surely now you've had some results, you just go, right, get the checkbook out again. Who wants to come and get 50k a month? And you can come and then we'll get. And you, by the way, you probably now one player from actually being interested.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, now they built up something, yeah.
Right, okay, let's do the last take of the show. Maui, what is your take?
Okay, my take is, I made this take and I realized that it's actually almost resembling a Kassad take, I realized.
Now you've piqued our curiosity, come on.
I'm sticking with it, but it's one that, I mean, I've kind of been beating this drum for a minute now, that I just feel like Astralis are hard capped by the fact that, I mean, they're out of the, so even providing further context, you know, they're out of Krakow now. They almost made it to the playoffs. They obviously lost. They lost to Furia in the third map. And, you know, in this game, actually, this player actually played pretty well. But again, I'm just going to kind of reiterate that Staehr right now is sort of kind of what's creating a ceiling for me for Astralis. I feel like, you know, Fozy's been great. You know, Yabi and Ryu, all three of those guys have actually really held up their end of the bargain. But then Staehr as a star player in star positions is just, I mean, what's great about Staehr is you put him in almost any role and it feels like he's going to give you a 1.05. Doesn't matter if that's an anchor position, doesn't matter if that's a support player, doesn't matter if he's a star player. And that's obviously to Astralis' detriment now that he has moved up in the role priority, but he's not really giving you what somebody in those kinds of roles is supposed to do. And so my suggestion to Astralis is, if they're serious, what they should do is they should get Senzu for Staehr.
Fucking hell, Senzu. Like the only problem is,
it's worth it.
Isn't it?
Try them out. The rolls are good.
Right. The only problem I have is this. It was implied to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Doesn't he have kind of scuffed English though?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
People learn. Yeah,
people learn.
He has shit English, not scuffed. Like, that's very mild.
Okay, I was too polite. My bad.
Yeah.
Probably 1 out of 10 English, but he'll learn. He speaks
He'll
Counter-Strike. Molodoy barely spoke English, okay? He learned.
Look at Shiro's communication. Like, I watched his, like, basic games with comms. Like, he's speaking totally normal. And when he started, he was a freak.
All right.
Who doesn't know a single word.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, do you have anything more about Maui, or do you want the story?
No. But it's just a yeah. Go off on it. Yeah, sure. What do you have to say?
The thing is, like, I'm looking at Astralis, and I just don't see identity. Like, I don't see identity. Ryu, whatever you call him, I don't know what's his, like,
Ryu.
Proper, like, Ryu.
I'd say Ryu. Yeah.
He has been showing a lot of, like, good things, like, eye test wise, right? He's getting multi-kills, positioning well, especially on the CT. Like, he knows how to shoot people. He's very sharp. And he's been there for a while. Wasn't it like a year and a half ago where he stood in for Monty or somebody? And
he's gotten a lot better since
Academy.
then.
And he's gotten a lot better. He got a chance. He played well. When it comes to Astralis itself, like, that team has lost all spirit, identity, soul, whatever you want to call it. I feel like there is nothing that will attract a tier 1 player to that team. Is it York? No. Shit York. Is it the IGL? No. Shit IGL. Is it the team? No. Shit team. What do you attract the players with? Like, there is not a single argument for you to go to Senzu outside of money, maybe, and tell them, listen, this is what I offer you. Like, for me, if I'm Senzu, I'm just, and I think this is going to happen. We saw the performance of Mongols in Krakow.
You think he's going to bring it back?
I think he's going to ask to come back.
Mate, you should. How does he do this every fucking time? Why is that not a hot take? Right now, nobody thinks he's ever coming back. Mate, and by the way, have you not noticed they've even done a MOUZ where they refuse to tell us what really happened? Like, oh, I just needed time off, mate. You need him badly back, so please explain. He's not. By the way, he is so obviously like pissed someone off or someone inside the org. It has to be, doesn't it? It just has to be. Come on.
Has to be. And then those things, like, they're gonna keep falling down. They're gonna
as if your take is that he's gonna do the, like, Mara checks his phone. No, I'm trying to say, you up? Give me a fucking break. Senzu.
There's going to be a skit as well. No, but the bottom line is, but Mongols, we saw how they played. They're going to keep falling down. They're going to keep expecting to be the top 3. And he's going to come back at some point. He's not going to work again. They're never going to be the same because it never works. Back to Astralis. Staehr, I don't know, like, wasn't it like 2 months ago where we discussed this player that is like the best player in the team? Like, was it so?
But I will say, like, even so, we would never say he's like one of the best in the world. That was sort of like a criticism of everyone else in the team that he's the best, sort of, wasn't it? You
know? For me, Astralis is a dead team no matter what you do. Like,
they just were one map from making play.
Oh, by the way, I've even remembered. I know what he's referencing. That was ages ago, Kassad. It was that time. It might be like over a year ago. It was the time where, like, the English just confused you. Where I was like, he's the best in his role, and you're like, he's the best at all roles. I'm like, no, fucking hell, no.
Yeah,
like, you know, like, you mean to be better than Device with the op? Like, fucking hell, I didn't even interpret.
Think
of it at all. You lost me on that one.
Had to fucking it's
all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the Astralis team and the org is like a soulless body, just walking around the planet, wandering, playing events. It's like, it's not even entertaining to watch them at all. It's just fucking cancer for my eyes to watch them. Basically,
here's my joke. You know what Astralis is now? Astralis is the Star Wars sequels. Because no matter how much you hate the evil Empire, tell you what, that Palpatine guy was pretty powerful. They're just like that fucking Snape guy or whatever. That's some shit. What was that guy's name? Like Professor Snope or something. Whatever that bald fucker that was with Kylo Ren. That was shit. You need a bad guy. At least they used to have Nikolai Niom. He was actually pure evil. He just only cared about money. Like, you know what? I tell you what, they were winning a lot when he was there, weren't they? Like, when they just got all these dickheads and like, hey, my name's Casper. Huh? What a coincidence. My name's Casper with a C. I'm Casper with a K. Fucking hell, is there anyone doing anything here? Casper the friendly ghost, you twat. So, yeah, no, now it's just a team where it's like, hey, it's Huxley plus what could be a game of Legion lineup. And he's like, I'm trying my best, guys.
And you won't bring Senzu there?
I know.
Like, it's crazy. No chance. Massive veto on that.
Here's the joke. If someone says to Senzu, do you want to join Astralis? He'd just go, have you invented a time machine? And that's the only answer you can give Senzu. Like, although I will say, I don't know where he's going now, boys. Like, where's he going? He just sat on the shelf forever. Someone make a team already of like Shuhei, Senzu, Dexter, because we're just never allowed to know why these people are allowed to be in teams. As far as I can tell, they're all good at CS, but it's like a dirty secret that they all, like, I don't know, kicked someone's dog in the fucking head or something. I don't know what they did at this point in time.
Just bring MSL back at this point too.